Oh, yeah, let's get into it, because shit's popping in my head right now to talk about.
Let's go, because you know what, baby? We're already live.
Oh, we live out here. Let's go. Who's introducing our guest?
That's so fucked up that you would say that. Because we're talking about death. And you're going to say we live?
So it's
It's real. It's raw.
It's also deep and diverse.
real talk.
Yeah, we're really live. On today's chapter,
Yes.
we're talking about death, the aspects of that. It kind of came up because the memorial for Kobe and Gigi aired today. And so we wanted to talk about that and kind of segue into how we cope with it and the other forms of death in our society and how we view it as a whole. We do have a special guest today, though. Our special guest is Josue.
What's up?
He is one of our good friends, very knowledgeable about several things, especially this topic. So we're going to get right into it.
He has died and came back.
Couple times.
Couple of times. More than once.
Let's get into it. So, since you're a special guest, how do you feel about death in general?
How do I feel about death? Well, first of all, I wasn't even aware about the whole memorial thing with Kobe.
Mm-hmm.
But my personal opinion about death is it's a natural thing. I feel like we shouldn't be scared of death. I was scared of death before. But, as you start, as you get older, you experience things, you start to realize that it's a natural thing. Everybody dies. So
If you were told you got 24 hours to live, you wouldn't be scared?
Oh, well, shit, fuck, then,
So you're not scared
I'm
of death?
cut short now,
Yeah.
I think.
But, okay,
Well, sorry, I didn't interrupt you, but I think people that are scared of death is because they're not really living, like maybe at the full potential. Because that's how I am. Well, that's how I used to be. I used to be really fucking scared of death.
So same thing if I asked
So
you, if they told you got 24 hours to live.
No, I don't think I would be scared now. I would fucking be like, try to do as much as I can in those 24 hours. Strip club, threesomes, fucking rob bangs and shit,
Just
fucking
ball out.
everything. Honestly. Try to come up with some money, because what? Who's going to pay for all my bills after I die?
What about you?
I was just kidding about the rob bangs part, by the way.
No, I think that death is very like an emotional thing. Especially when someone passes away, when I feel it's like before their time, or if they're really young and didn't get to experience a lot of things in life. I think it's a really like somber thing, death is.
So going back to what you said, if you were told, you got 24 hours to live, like how Alex said, I'm gonna just like ball out basically. Would you guys not like give a fuck anymore and just like do whatever, like not care about anything and just do whatever you guys feel like it, no matter if it's like good or bad? Or would you guys try to accomplish something in those 24 hours?
What I said, to backtrack what I said, I kind of just said that to kind of break the ice a little bit, but I don't think I would do anything bad as long as it doesn't affect anyone else. If it's going to be something bad, it's probably going to be bad in the sense that it doesn't affect me, but then again, I'm already going to die, so it can't get any worse than that, But as far as doing other, let's say like, robbing a bank or robbing people or shit like that, committing crimes or anything of that nature, I don't think I personally would. Because at that point, you're already putting other people's life in danger. You're disrespecting other people. You're not really living your best life, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I wouldn't do anything that would endanger somebody else either. But then again, I feel like we should live like that every day, but we don't. Because you never know, right?
True.
It's hard to.
Mm-hmm.
It really is.
Why do you think we don't live to our full potential day to day?
Because we think we got a long life ahead of us. We think we got time, but we don't know how much time we have. You think they woke up that morning and they knew they were going to pass away in a helicopter crash? They've done it plenty of times, but they didn't know.
And some of the things that we do in our life, we try to set up for our future, not for that
Exactly.
expiration. So, like, if this was my last 24 hours, I probably won't want to be going to the gym. I probably would be doing something else, but I think that it's conducive to my well-being and my health to go to the gym today. So,
Yeah, so that's
That's
why,
true.
because everybody's thinking about the future and
future.
not what's happening now. So you don't imagine that tomorrow you may not wake up or that you may not make it home, you know? So you're constantly just thinking of what you got to do to prepare yourself for the future rather than what's happening now.
I
So
think.
go on, go ahead.
I think people are scared of death because not so much that they know they're gonna die, but it's like the not knowing, like what's after death. Like, is it a big, paradise, miracle land in the heavens or whatever religious people call it, or is it just maybe like absolute nothing?
Honestly, I think-
You're just in, like, well, nothing. I
I
don't know how
think
to.
more people are attached to what we have
I don't
here
know how to
rather
explain
than that.
nothing.
I feel like there's more attachment to like the physical and what we have and like our life and our family members and what we're doing rather than what's gonna happen after. At least that's how I see it. I feel like if I'm scared of death, it's because of what I'm leaving behind and what I'm losing out rather than what's gonna happen. Because if once I die, I'm not really gonna know.
Yeah, and the Marines have a saying that is piggybacking off of what you're saying, is that everyone wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of like what you're talking.
Right, so
Yeah.
it's like when I die, if you do become, part of the universe or whatever it is, you go to heaven, whatever you believe. If you do you really, at that point, do you really have that attachment? I think that's more of a physical, like what we feel now and what we think now, rather than once you transcend into just the physical world and all the belongings and everything. So look into, what is it, Buddhism?
Mm-hmm.
Where they don't have any attachments to anything.
They detach themselves from everything.
Like monks completely detach themselves.
But then again, is that really like? Do you really think that's necessary though, to detach yourself from everything?
No,
Because monks. I mean, they don't. They're basically like what do you call them? Like las monjas, like the sisters.
The nuns.
The nuns. They don't. They're not in a relationship, so they don't really actually feel. Well, I think they don't really feel love, towards another person, because to them it's like, oh, I just have love for God, Jesus Christ or whatever. But then you're just detaching yourself, like the monks. You detach yourself from everything, so it's like you really have no feelings towards nothing, towards nobody. So is that really like something healthy? Would you
That's a
say?
good question. I personally could never be a monk. I'm too attached to everything.
I talk too much for all that. So we had in 8th grade, our social studies teacher, we had he made a monastery in his classroom and you cannot talk in there, and I was like, I can't go in there.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I can't do it.
And honestly, I would, in respects to them, if that works for them. Again, I'm all for whatever gets people through their day and their life. I respect what you think, and
Yeah.
if that's what gives you peace, hey, I'm all for it. But for me, I'm still working on that. I'm too attached to, for example, I think the biggest thing for me is my family.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm leaving behind rather than my life itself.
Are monks, do they detach themselves from their families?
Yeah,
They do?
yeah. But they are attached to nature still.
Yeah.
All the stuff they do is in nature. So it's kind of like they do have that emotional attachment, that sensory with nature, which is like a huge part of the beauty in this world.
So is it like they just have more love towards nature than their own blood, I guess?
We can't say that if it's more or not. I think love is love.
Hey,
Yeah.
when it's love,
It's love.
It's love.
Like, who are you to say that your love for whatever it is that you love is greater than their love for
Well, yeah, no, I
life? Because that's what they, at least that's my understanding of it. Like you're saying, of nature. They appreciate everything and they understand it, but they just don't get attached to the work and the career and everything that we do in our everyday life. They don't get attached to that. I'm guessing they see like a bigger picture and they see something else. And it's almost like they live for what's after rather than what's,
no.
Yeah.
I think when people pass away, well, the funeral business is a huge business. Caskets are very expensive, and what Alex said earlier is like, oh, my last day, I'm gonna figure out how I'm gonna get money to, take care of my bills and bury myself, which is crazy to think about because if we are living our lives and we're trying to pursue careers and take care of our loved ones, ourselves, our family, like, do we really even have enough to die in society today? Because casket or funerals in general, like, are average around $10,000 for a funeral. Like, I don't have that in my savings right now, so I can't even afford it to die.
And it's 20,000 to have a kid, so
Yeah,
roughly,
yeah.
you know. So
It's funny. Do you think that is just here in the United States? Though?
Yes.
yes,
It is. Huh?
Yes.
I, I've always looked at death as a business. Like, even to die, you gotta fucking pay. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You can't even die in peace and shit.
But like going back to what you were saying earlier about getting cremated, that doesn't, or it fucks up your spirituality or something like that.
We'll talk about it because this is it's a new.
Oh.
Yeah, so explain it.
Oh well, I'll just save it for.
Well, right now,
No,
so we can talk about. So we were talking about how, like, funerals in general around $10,000. If you get cremated,
No,
it's less expensive.
Because like in other countries, you know, they don't really focus on all that, the caskets and
burials and stuff
yeah,
like
they
that.
just like you just get buried, you know, and they don't even use caskets. A lot of them they just like wrap you around in sheets and then you know they just put you in your grave.
Yeah, we have cemeteries like that here.
The reason
yeah.
I heard about that, like when you're cremated, it affects like your energy or whatever it is that you become after, was because I forgot who I was telling, but I was saying there's this company that does, like, so they'll take your ashes and they'll put it in a pod, and it's a seed of like whatever
That's
kind
what I
of
wanna
plant
be.
or tree that you decide to be, and they put you, and then your family decides where they want to plant.
That's what I want to do. So
And that's what I was saying. Like, that would be so dope for me, or that, or like just spread my ashes somewhere in nature. But then, whoever that person was telling me that they were reading on like more spirituality type stuff, so that when you get cremated, it affects your energy and it affects your soul, or you know, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Again, we don't know, but that's
See,
just a belief.
I think that's my perspective. I think that's bullshit.
yeah, because
I
then
don't.
what you
I don't.
said,
I
like,
don't believe that. Yeah,
you
because
said, so if you die in a car crash and you burn up, then what's the
or
difference?
even like in arson, or let's say like, what do you guys believe animals have spirits?
yes.
So what about in wildlife? Like all those fucking wildfires that are going on. Like, do they just obliviate
Spirit
from the
animals?
fucking?
And like,
from
who's
the
to
face of
decide,
the
who's
universe
to
and shit?
decide that? Oh, well, you know, you got burnt in a house fire, so yeah,
Your energy's
gone.
messed up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can't go
And
here or
it
wherever.
Just
you
the
know,
luck
that's-
of the draw.
And what I also wanted to comment on that was that I was like I was taking this this class when I was going to school in at ARC, and we were focusing on Buddhism. And the professor he put like, it was a film. We didn't finish watching it, but from what we got to see, there was a part where it was I forgot where it was. It was that movie with Keanu Reeves, Little Buddha. I don't know if you have seen it or heard of it.
I've heard of it, but I've never seen it.
So there's this part where the kid is in they go to what's that name of that country, Thailand, I think. But he's just like wandering around like this little town where they at, and I guess he ended up he walked into like this funeral. So they're doing like this whole ceremony, like spiritual ceremony and all that stuff, and they have him laying down. It's like this river, and I guess that river, I don't know if it still exists, but back then that river was like very sacred and like spiritual. So when somebody would die, they would put him on that river. They would put him like on a bed. They would wrap him around in sheets, and then they would burn them, and then they would just let the river take him away. So that's why I remember what he said about.
Well, there's a lot of shows that do that. There's so one that I really like is Supernatural, and it's called like Hunter's Funeral.
Yeah.
So like the hunters, they hunt supernatural stuff, monsters, demons, whatever, all of that. But if they were to die, they cremate them that way. So I guess in a sense their energy doesn't get messed up, or maybe they don't come back to life angry, become a ghost, or wherever the case may be. And there's another one. What was it called? Well, Vampire Diaries in the originals. There was a scene too where a werewolf died, and they kind of did the whole thing where they put him like in a little canoe, or I don't know what, they wrapped him around, put him on fire, and just let him go into the lake, or
Yeah, I've seen it in
Ocean,
shows.
whatever it
I've seen
was.
that in shows too, where they just put them on the. What they did in that, I forget. It might have been like Game of Thrones or something. They put them on like a canoe type thing, and then they pushed them, and then they all drew their arrows and just like light the canoe on fire,
Yeah.
and it would just go down the river. Eventually a person would burn.
How do you guys cope with death? Like, so we're kind of talking more in a personal sense right now of how we would feel, what we kind of think about burial, but like, how do you cope with a loved one passing?
Before we answer that, just
Okay.
I wanted to tell you guys. So I looked up like the average cost for cremation. It says here, well, based on from this article, it says $1,100 on average, and for a funeral with burial and stuff, it's $11,000. So
Yeah.
that's a huge fucking gap between like burning and not.
Yeah, so it's like they're doing a play on religious beliefs, one, and for two, yeah, that's what they're doing. But they're probably not. Are they counting like the urn? Because the urns are expensive too.
I'm not sure,
I
but
feel like it's a supply and demand type of thing too. They take advantage of something that
Yeah, how much is a damn casket itself?
how much?
Expensive.
Expensive.
and then they have like different types of material, I guess, for the
Right.
casket, right?
Oh, we got this cherry wood casket. I
Exactly.
don't care what you put me in. Just
Yeah.
if you have to put without a casket, do it.
So there's some right here. I'm looking up. It's 2,600, 1,500.
A casket?
And not everyone can
2,000.
afford
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, and then they go into debt trying to have like a nice little funeral for their loved ones.
Right.
And it's
Yeah.
like, damn, that's
That's why I've always said, like, if I were to die before I want to say my parents, I would have honestly just fucking like just throw me in the bag, let me rot. Like, I don't care. Like, don't fucking waste $10,000-$20,000 just so they can fucking put me on the fucking on the floor. Like,
But so like if they
don't tell anyone I'm dead. Take me to the ocean, just drop me
So-
off, fucking Osama bin Laden style.
so at the anniversary of like your death, like does your family believe in like ofrendas?
Nah, I'm gonna say no because I don't know what that is.
You know what that is?
Yeah.
Okay, so like we're around the time of the
Like
Day
the
of the
Day
Dead,
of the Dead,
the Day
or
of the
the
Dead, like you put all the like a shrine.
Oh,
So like so you think that if they're just disposed of you like that, then the belief is that if you put like you have a shrine of your loved ones and their spirits are connected with you on the Day of the Dead day,
they'll
right?
come back and
Yeah.
because you have to put like their favorite foods, like their favorite drinks.
see,
and
to
stuff
me,
like that.
it's starting to sound like fucking Santa Claus too. Like, all of those fucking beliefs are just so full of shit to me,
But then
Well, I
again,
think you don't have to have any artifact or any fucking flower or anything to be connected to someone. It's like the whole thing with God. They say go to church if you want to fucking talk to God, if you want to be close to him. No, you fucking don't have to go to church. I could be with God right now.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, do you guys believe that you have to go to church to?
No.
nah.
Hell no.
No, I don't think you have to, but I think it is a powerful place to be.
It depends where. I guess it depends where you go because there are some that, and I feel like it has a lot to do with the people
Yeah.
because the people are all there and they're firm believers, like, and their energy itself is already
So-
something
Do you
else.
guys remember that song with the Ice Cube? If you're scared to go to church,
If you're scared to go to church.
So back then, I mean, I would listen to that song. I'll bob my head to it, but I didn't really understand what he was talking about, right? But now I like really understand it because, like, if you really think about it, a lot of these people that go to church and praise, a lot of them they really are scared because they're scared
It's
of
fear.
death. They want to feel like they're doing something good, so when they die, they go to heaven because they don't want to go to hell. So that makes them scared. So they want to prevent that by going to church.
Yeah, some people, like for me, I go to a non-denominational church.
What is,
so
can you, I don't know what that is. Can you
yeah.
explain?
So basically, they take teachings from several different religions, and they kind of preach it for how it applies to the world today. So like, there's like they say namaste when you walk in. There's Buddhist pictures hung up, like Buddha's hung up. They talk about the Bible some. They talk about this, but basically they kind of merge all these teachings together to give you like a tool of how to get past certain things we're facing right now. So the pastor that he says like, hey, we're having a conversation right now, and I encourage you to take this however you want to and interpret it in the way that you're supposed to, because times are forever changing, nothing's ever set, and like if you want to talk about it, we can talk about it later, but this is all up to your interpretation. So it's not like you have to believe this or you're gonna go to hell. So,
you guys
I
are
like that.
You guys are omnist.
excuse me,
You guys are omnist.
omni.
Elaborate.
Omnist.
Elaborate, please.
No,
Oh,
because,
sorry.
no, because that would include
that-
atheism, right? And it would include praising the devil as well.
Well,
Right.
Omni
is all.
Omniist. Well, omniist. It's basically saying that you don't believe in one religion, but okay, you don't find truth in one religion or believe in one religion, but you find truth in all of them.
Yeah,
So
There's-
I would say that's what you guys would probably
yeah.
be considered.
Yeah, probably. So it's called we call it non-denomination. though.
Omnism is the recognition
Omnism,
and
yeah.
respect of all religions or lack thereof. Those who hold this belief are called omnists. The Oxford English Dictionary quotes as the term's earliest usage, but that's bullshit. Whatever.
You
Yeah,
said
the
what's-
belief in all religions, or the lack thereof.
In a summary.
Omnism,
Yeah.
omnist.
Yeah, so our pastor's really big on the area congregations together. So he's like on the front lines fighting against the wall being built or the like he goes to the border when it's time to go to the border to advocate for that. When there's riots in Sacramento, he's right there as a clergyman. So like he's definitely involved in like social justice issues that are going on in society right now. So and he's funny too. So every time I go to that church, I feel like my cup is full. And I feel good. I feel good about it. But I don't actually have to go. They live stream it too. And if like I don't go, like I feel sometimes like I'm missing something. So it's just kind of a cleansing thing. But you're never felt bad for not going. You know, so it's kind of like if I want to, I'll go.
See, that's
Did-
that's probably something I would
yeah.
consider going to.
I like the idea of that. I just don't like the idea of every Sunday you have to go to church.
Yeah, that and
This,
then
and if you don't go to church, then you're not close to God. And I don't
you
think
can
that's true.
Yeah.
and you gotta cop up some cash too. Like damn,
Yeah.
I probably got
Do you guys
gas
do
to
that
come
too?
to church.
Like cash? Or
Dude,
like
donations?
pay, like
Yeah,
Donations?
people
Don't-
tithe and do donations, but you're not pressured to. Like they literally do it once a service, and it happens so quick that sometimes you have to chase them down to give you because it's just like doo-doo, okay, and they're done, and then they wrap up with like song or whatever. Like it's so quick to where like sometimes you'll be like writing a check out or something. You just have to like find people to give the money to. So yeah, they collect it. They have to keep the lights on, you know, and they'd use that venue for other things. So they hold like public forums. They're a polling place. When you go vote, you go there. Like when people have like want to have funerals, then they go there. So they're also opening like a preschool. So it doubles as so many things that yes, tithing or giving donations to the church helps keep it open.
I heard this. I don't know enough about it, but I heard this. There was this quote one time about why we shouldn't fear death when death comes for you. You know, like the Reaper and all that stuff. Why we shouldn't fear him, because he's actually just here to guide us into the next.
That's funny. I read that the other day too.
And I was like, that's a good point.
So I think that is a good point, but I think that like so if we like kind of go back to what I was trying to segue into before, like if we move ourselves out of it, like we kind of deal with death in our own ways, in our religion, in our own ways, and live our life the way it's supposed to. But when we're dealing with the death of like a loved one, or if we had children and our children, it's, you know, God forbid, passed away at a young age, like how do you guys cope with death in general?
I feel like I still have work to do on that because I feel like I still don't know how to cope with death. Because I mean, like I got family members, or like this recent one, which was my grandma that passed away. So obviously, you know, that hit my mom really hard, you know, because it's my mom's mom who passed away. And when I found out, I wanted to talk to my mom, but then again, I didn't because I didn't know what to tell her.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what to say. You know, because it was like, well, you know, she died. Like, what can I tell you? Or, you know. So it was like, I kind of like kept my distance from her. Well, not from her, but like, I didn't really talk to her for like maybe like a day or two. Because I really didn't know what to say. So I feel like I still don't know how to cope with
I think it's
that
kind of
type
like
death.
what you were saying before we started recording, how like when somebody posts something and then everybody's like kind of checking on it. Every message is like just
A reoccurrence.
yeah.
So because your mind doesn't know. Like when you have a thought in your head, your mind doesn't. This is with anything, like not just with death. When you think about anything in your head, your mind doesn't know the difference of emotion. So it replays the same emotion, doesn't know if it's real or fake. So that's how people like develop these really bad habits, and it becomes like a personality trait of theirs because they're continuously reliving the traumas like we talked about before. So with death, it's kind of like it's reliving it, and that's how people spiral into like these really hardcore depressions because they're not escaping this fight or flight mode and they can't do anything about it. It's out of your control. So yeah, definitely that. I think that social media is became like a hub for people passing away to build funds when like the GoFundMe when people pass away unexpectedly, or just posting like rest in peace this person
I feel like it goes both ways, like how you're explaining it, but then there's also people that I don't know, they just feel like they want to be part of the hype.
They do it for themselves.
Yeah.
Like it's for attention for them, and I get that. Like it is helpful, especially for the people that don't have money for, all that to cover the
whole GoFundMe and all that.
So in that aspect, I mean, it's useful if you put it to work. How it should be, not just like how you go to a viewing or something and you want to be recorded. I don't think that's right. Like, don't be recording.
I feel like that's disrespectful.
Have respect. It's in that room and leave it there. I don't think you have to put it out. Now, if you want to put an image and say, rest in peace, that allows other people to see, and to find out. I mean, that's fine, I guess, but doing it for your own, like, selfish reasons.
I just can't connect with, like, honestly, I cannot connect with a person doing it for themselves. I don't see how it would be.
I've seen it, and I feel like that's selfish sometimes.
But how? I don't see how. Why would a person be like, oh, like I'm gonna get some.
So for example,
sympathy.
Fuck yeah.
For example, like on social media, like on Instagram, right? You got somebody passes away, but then there's somebody that didn't really know that person, but then they're always just posting stuff just to get like those likes or just those views.
Are you okay? Or this
those
and
messages.
That.
Yeah. Maybe the girl that they like or guy that they like are gonna see like, oh damn, he or she is going through something real quick. Hey, how are you? Are you doing okay? Blah blah. Boom, got him.
Do people really do that?
I think they do.
They do. I've seen it.
I mean, because think about it.
I had a friend who their uncle died or something like that, and one of the family members who may have not been the closest and quite possibly even like would talk them down or talk shit while they were alive. As soon as that person died, they went on social media, all platforms, and pretended like that was their favorite uncle and that was this and that. And I remember the times we did this and that, and it was all sympathy. It was just for them.
See, I don't get that.
And I get the grieving part, like, damn, I fucked up and now this person's gone and I regret doing this and that. But I think part of it is still for themselves.
I don't get. I feel like a relationship that you have with someone that passed away is just like a relationship that someone has with God. I can't look at Alex and be like, you know what? Like, what are you talking about? Like, God this, God that. Like, you don't have a relationship with him. You don't even go to church. But he could have a good relationship with God, and I don't know that. So my relationship with the deceased, or whoever's posting the relationship with the deceased, no one really knows except for that other person,
True.
in my opinion. So it's kind of like, how do we know that it's for sympathy or not? Because we can't really know their real relationship.
I know because I've known people that do that. So it's like I see when they post something and they're over here trying to act like, oh, I was really close to this person, blah blah blah. But then I know you and I know that person, and I definitely know you didn't get along or you barely talked to that person. Now you're all of a sudden, passed away, and now my best friend or this and that. Oh, I remember when we used to do this. But you're just doing it so people can like, talk to you, so somebody can come up and like how they were saying like, oh, are you okay? How are you feeling?
But they might not be okay. So like honestly, okay. So I had and I think social media was a great platform for this. But I used to teach, and one of my students, great kid, ended up passing away in an accident here in Stockton. He died at young. He was like 13 years old. And he had saved up his money to buy a quad and was riding the quads in the canals.
I remember this.
And he ended up and it was his first time getting it. Like he was writing it, and it flipped, smashing. He ended up passing away. I found out through social media there was a GoFundMe, and without that platform, I would have never known that happened. And still, I'm just like, dang, I haven't seen this kid in years. 'Cause I don't work at that school anymore. But that was a great kid. That was a great kid, and I haven't talked to him obviously since I taught, but I still have an emotional connection with him because of the time that I spent with him at that time. So it's like it doesn't mean that like my grieving or my emotions any less significant than someone else, because I still had my relationship, even though it went on a hiatus because I didn't work at that school anymore.
Right. Yeah. We don't really know how, if they do feel bad or they don't. I think the reason we feel like that is because, say if you didn't end on good terms with somebody and then they pass away, you would feel like, or even me, I would feel like it's hypocritical of me to go and now pretend to be, like, oh, we were this and that, and I apologize and blah, blah, blah. I feel like I personally would just do it in private, whether it be reach out to their family or whatever it is, but I wouldn't go and post about it. And maybe that's why we have that view of, oh, well, this person's doing it, and I know how you were with them, and I know what you used to say or what you used to tell me about that person, and now you're pretending like nothing ever happened between you two. But I think that's just like the personal view of how we would go about it, rather than, and you're right, we don't know, and it might be wrong to say, well, they're just being hypocritical, and they're this and that, and you don't really know if it is affecting them or not. So
and it very well could be. Like, honestly, God forbid anything ever happened to any of my exes, but like if any of them passed away, I'd be fucking devastated. Like, and I'm not even with them anymore, but like I had the love is love. Like, I'll be devastated, and I'd probably, if certain ones of them passed away, I'd probably be in a fucking psych ward. I'm not even joking. Like, I'd be like, oh my God.
Yeah,
and
so I get what you're saying, and I accept that view of it. I guess I hadn't thought about it like that, but it's just, I think, a personal thing
to me.
Of I'm not gonna go on social media because I feel like that's just for attention, because that person's not gonna see this. This apology is more for myself than it is for them, because they're not gonna see it.
Yeah.
So I think that's where it seems like, okay, you're doing it for yourself because that person doesn't know anymore. You didn't say it to them while they were alive. Why are you saying it now?
I actually I see what you're saying 1,000%. Now now that you explained it that way, I do have a better view of how you could say like it's selfish. But in my mind is that if everyone on my social media, like I've met, like I have a relationship with. So if they need to be selfish for themselves to move past that, then I could read that and console them as a friend because I fuck with you like that, and that's why they're there in the first place. It kind of goes into people like when they're going through issues in their relationship or they're going through issues with life or work and they vent on social media. People are just like, oh, don't put that on social media. I'm like, dude, if they're your real friends, that's their way of, if they're your real friends, like for me, that's a cue to be like, hey, is everything good? You need to talk. Because they might not feel comfortable to reach out to anyone in particularly.
See, what I don't understand is how the fuck could you possibly be okay with you putting your business out there in social media with anyone could see it, but you don't have the balls to go up to your closest friends and be like, hey, bro, fuck, like, I'm about to get out of my house, I have nowhere to stay, blah, 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 like, is it okay if I stay with you? Instead of fucking going on social media, hey, guys, so if I got evicted, I have nowhere to stay. Like, how the fuck?
But that's just, that's your perspective, because maybe you were never put in a situation where you would have to reach out to the masses, rather than, say, those people can't confide in someone, or they feel like they can't, but they're like, fuck it, this is my last resort,
Yeah, and maybe they're not even thinking like, oh, can I stay with anyone in particular? Like, maybe some resources or shelters that I don't know about. Like, maybe affordable housing that I contain. Like, maybe you could point me in the right direction. I think that for me, if I had to go to you guys and be like, hey, like, can I stay like at your house? I feel like I'm a burden on you, and I'd rather just sleep outside, straight up. And it's not that I don't trust that you could help me. I just don't want to be a burden on anyone that I care about.
That's not a burden. I mean, a burden would be like you stay for like a year, not do shit about it.
That's your
like,
perspective.
hey,
See, but that's how you feel. But she's like, I wouldn't be able to ask you guys because I feel like a burden. It's not what you're telling her.
It's a feeling.
No,
I feel like both of you guys are right, because like I get your point of view and I
Mm-hmm.
get your point of view, because like me, like you're right what you were saying, but at the same time I agree with you, because me personally, like I like to keep my business on the down low, you know. I don't really like putting my business out there. So if I was in a situation like that, I wouldn't put it on social
Right.
media, right? But then again, you are right, because you know, maybe if you put it out there, maybe somebody can direct you to like the right place or something, you know. But then, like, again, it just depends on our own perspective, I guess you could say.
It is. It's left down. It's left to, you know, how you see it, I guess.
If you absolutely have no friends, like zero, like absolutely nothing, then I guess, I mean, shit, that's probably. And even then, there's fucking Google. There's the internet. Go fucking search.
It is-
Where can I stay if I'm homeless or
You know what I think,
something.
Alex? You just hate people, bro.
No, it's not that. Like, just I don't understand.
I think that you have.
You're
No.
allergic to humans, huh?
Yeah, I think I'm
No,
typing.
I think that like what you're blessed to have a support system. You never really had to be in a situation
And
like
that's what
that.
I'm- and that's what I'm
Because I
saying.
think you just haven't been there. Just
No,
to be
I have.
honest.
I have.
But have you? Is there anyone that? Have you ever been into a point to where you felt like you couldn't depend on anyone, including your family?
Yeah. Wait, to including my family?
Yeah.
No.
Because you have a tight family. Everyone does
Not
not
even
have
that,
that.
though. Sometimes I didn't even go to my family. I went to other close friends because I knew they were close friends.
Even more of a
But
blessing.
yeah,
Even
exactly.
more of a
No, but that's
blessing.
what I'm
though.
saying. I don't understand the thought process. Instead of going to my family first or close friends, I have to go on social media and post it.
We're saying that they
Wait,
might not have it, and you've been blessed to have it.
So what if they don't have it?
Even I don't know. There's still Google.
See, like, I'm gonna tell you from my personal
So
experience.
I think you're just blessed because you haven't been in that. It's a blessing.
I think
That-
it's down to perspective. I really think.
No,
it
I
is.
mean, it
and I
is.
get what you're saying. It's like you don't always have to put your information out there or your personal business, because you're seeing it from the I'm putting it out there so I can get sympathy, almost, right?
Yeah.
Like why the fuck are you posting? I think it depends on what you're posting.
Not
though.
even that. Even let's say if we go back to the whole death thing, no matter what type of relationship you have with the deceased, like I don't understand the thought process of going to a funeral, recording, and being more aware, more like kind of worried about getting the right frame or the right shot or the right video than actually being there and fucking saying bye to that person one last time. I don't get the thought process of people when they do that.
I understand
really
that.
don't.
Yeah.
I understand that, like going to funerals or viewings and capturing that moment and posting that's different than if you put a picture of them while they were in life and and writing your whatever it is, and if that's like you're saying your way of coping with it, then more power to you.
Yeah, so
But
I recorded like a whole, like we had a whole service like recorded so they can hear people speak and stuff, because my stepdad, who passed away, his family from Mexico couldn't be here, so especially in their culture, like they had like the pictures, the shrines hung up all year long. And so, like, they had a picture of him. They were grieving real bad, and so, like, they have an option to record funeral services. So we recorded it and sent it to them, so they felt like they were a part of it. Got statements from them, read it there, so people can hear what they wanted to say. So they felt like they were kind of a part of the going away process. But I don't know. I just think that.
You just personally feel like it's never, and if it is selfish, then good for them if that's their way of coping with it.
Then
That's what's gonna help them
I'm
get
okay.
past it.
For me personally, I'm
Right,
okay with
right.
it if I see it on my timeline. Because if it's on my timeline, you're likely friends with me, or I know you somehow. And if that's how you need to deal with it, okay. If someone said they were dealing with anything, like I have a background in I've been working in social services since I was 13 years old. I have like a ton of people I could be like, oh, talk to this person, talk to that person, do this, do that, and they might not know that about me, but that's just what it is. So I'm quick to shoot someone a DM, like, hey, like I would reach out here, reach out there. But at the same time, it's like I've been in situations to where like I didn't have a place to sleep and I was sleeping in my car. Like, do I have friends? Yeah. Do I have family? Yeah. But I didn't feel comfortable to be a burden on anybody. And I think that when it comes to stuff like that, I have such an emotional attachment to it, because out of anybody, if they would know the resources in the Valley or in Sacramento or in Davis, I should be the best person to go through. I can tell anyone where to go. But as a single person with no children, like the likelihood of me attaining those things is very low, and me not knowing where to start, which is crazy, because I have experience. So if I had experience and felt like I had to sleep in my car, imagine people that have no idea what the resources are. I just feel like it's even harder for people that are in situations like that.
That's true.
I think we're talking about two different things, though, because you're talking about how people go and post on social media, like the viewing, the funeral, or the person in the casket, or taking the picture of them, and you don't feel like that's right. And I agree with you there.
I
But,
don't think it is.
what you're saying
Even
is...
with therapy though, like, so even when my stepdad passed, he was like, he's my father figure. Like he was been around my entire life. And so like even when he passed, it's like I don't know, like I can't afford to go get therapy right now. And it's like I would want to, like, a part of me should be like, okay, like, should I post on here? Like, does anyone know any like free therapy services or whatever? Because I don't want to break down and put any weight on any of my friends or family, because in my family, I'm the strong one. I'm the one organizing these funerals. I'm the one like making the video and crying, making the video all the way through. I'm the one communicating with everyone in Mexico because I'm the one that speaks Spanish. So it's kind of like, it was hard on me to like have to be the liaison for everybody, so I couldn't go to my family because I was a rock for them. So, and I didn't want to go to my friends because I feel like they just want to, I don't want to be a burden. So it's kind of like, what do? I go to a therapist, but I can't afford a therapist either. So it's kind of like you're stuck in a place to where like you have to handle it yourself. So if I felt like out of anything, I'd probably would feel more comfortable venting on social media and just putting it out there for me so I can get it off of my shoulders, rather than going to you and crying to you about it and sobbing about it and having you feel like you have to do something to help me because you care about me. When sometimes I just need to get it out.
Right.
Would that be considered like more of a pride thing though?
It could be. No, I don't know. I don't think it's a pride thing. I think it's an empathetic thing. Like I don't want
Because you don't want people to feel empathy for you. Like you want to tell them, but then you don't want to tell them because then you
don't
feel
want
like they're
them to
just
feel
gonna
bad, right?
they're just gonna feel bad and just like
No.
have like
I don't
they'll feel sorry, like some type of
because
sorry,
what it
you know?
is, I think, is that when I get to a point to where, or people probably in my situation get to the point to where it's not about them wanting anything in return. They just need to vent. So they just need to dump on whoever. But since you have, that's why therapists make so much money, because they need people to dump on, and you don't always want to dump on your family. And then if you're dumping on someone that's adequate enough to like give you tools to help cope with whatever you're dealing with, like therapists, and they're trained to do that. Like I don't know if you're trained to do that. Like if I talk to Alex, out of everyone, I was like, you know what, Alex, like I see you the most right now. Like I talk to you probably the most, like you two the most right now. But I went to you because he was at work, and I said all this stuff, and like your point of view for death is just like, well, everyone fucking dies. Like that would have been could have been your response, and I'm like fucking crying and going through shit. Like, do you think that's gonna help or hurt me?
And be like, that's real talk though.
They'll probably hurt you, yeah.
It might hurt me, and I don't even want to put you in that situation because I don't even know how.
Because you're already hurt.
Because then
I'm
you
already
feel like
hurt.
you're adding to their life, and now they got something to worry about, or now they're gonna be worried about you if they can't do anything for you.
Yeah. So.
What's your perspective?
I think it's all mindset. It goes back to mindset and about being strong enough to deal with shit like that. How with the whole trauma, I like we were talking about David Goggins. He said he's always basically like training himself mentally to get to that point to where when he does get that phone call of like his mom dying or whatever, he doesn't break down and fucking just his life crumbles. And I think I'm not saying that's where my mind is right now, but that's the way I look at things, honestly. I feel like I need to get myself ready in case tomorrow I come home and be like, hey, you know, your mom, you know, she was at the house and there was a robbery and she got shot and she died. And I would be like, fuck. Like, I would be hurt, but I think I would hope I'm strong enough to kind of just,
Not break down.
grieve, you know, and be sad, but I don't know, life continues. And it's fucked up because it will be like, it's your own mom, so it's like, fuck, that's like hella close to you. So
Do you like?
I wouldn't know how I would react to that because I haven't been there yet. So.
Forbid like that happen. But do you think that you would grieve on your own, like by yourself with it, or would you go to a friend or go to other family to grieve through
Probably
that?
both. I think I would do both. I would do it on my own time, and then if I ever need to talk to someone, like, hey, bro, like, let's go grab a drink.
How would you
I've
cope
been
with
missing
it?
my mom,
Me?
whatever.
Yeah.
I hold it in, bro. But we talked about this kind of in our previous chapters, how like me, I don't give my friends the opportunity to help me, and that I should be working on that. So I've like experienced like deaths, and I haven't talked to anybody about it. Not even, don't cry, nothing. And it's kind of like I just kind of deal with, if I do like get emotional about it, like I'll do it on my own, and I'll try to like figure out things on my own. But there's certain things that will trigger emotions, or I'll have like a memory and I'll like want to cry about it. But I think that I've never had the opportunity or felt like I had the opportunity to be weak, You know, like I've had to be strong. I gotta translate. I gotta do this. I gotta set up that. I gotta make these flyers. I gotta make these pamphlets. So it's kind of like I'm in like business mode. Like I'm not in like human mode. So it's kind of like,
Do you get that little feeling on your throat when you feel like you want to cry, but you just...
yeah, like it gets,
don't?
it's like yeah, definitely it's a sore throat. And I think that even in the conversation we're having now, since like my mind doesn't know that this is like a past thing, just bringing it up like makes me feel emotional too.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like I could cry about it.
What about you? How do you cope with it?
Luckily, I haven't had to experience like super close death. I think the closest one would have to be like when Myra passed away, just because I happened to be involved.
You were
within
there,
it, you know, I
and you
was
saw
there.
it.
We were both hit. Like, unfortunately, she was, she didn't make it. But even then, it was like I was in the hospital for a week, and it didn't. When the cops came and told me, like, you know what, this was before my surgery, and they were like, your friend didn't make it. It was kind of like,
Like, it didn't really affect you?
no, it didn't.
Because...
It wasn't until I got home and then I saw like the picture. That's when it was just like I couldn't. It wasn't like cry. It wasn't like a thought like, oh, you have to cry. It was just like I lost it. There was nothing I couldn't even speak, but I couldn't explain why, because I wasn't at like super close to her. But I think it was just like that trauma was it was suppressed, bro, by the shock. So it was just like a shock factor, and I didn't know how to react.
Yeah.
Like I didn't. And then when I did see that, it just blew up. But like, for example, like my grandparents, I didn't grow up around my grandparents. So I've been over here since I was like 3, so we did see them. They would come visit us and stuff. But even when they passed away, like my dad's side, it was harder to see how my parents reacted rather than
Yourself.
to think about my connection with my grandfather.
It was more of a hurt feeling for your parents.
It was like you said, there was nothing I knew. I didn't know how to say anything or how to express what I was feeling, because there's nothing you can say. It goes back to what you were saying. It's just refreshing their memory about it, and the more you tell them, and then you feel like, okay, now I'm just hurting them more.
Yeah.
I think the best thing you can do is, I think a hug says more than anything, Like, just know that I don't have anything to say to you. I love you and I'm here for you. But what do you say, Again, I've been blessed enough to not have to, say goodbye to any of my close friends or close family members. How I would cope with it, I'm not sure.
I think that for me personally, when someone passes away that is older, it's easier for me to cope with.
Easier
because I could tell myself they lived like a long life, or even if someone dies away earlier, but then like it was due to like substance abuse or something else, like I could kind of cope with that. But I think it's like the things that happen where
Like
it just comes out of
unexpected.
nowhere, then it just throws me for like
Especially
a loop.
like how you were saying about kids,
Yeah.
Even if I don't know the child, hearing about how a child died or
Yeah,
something like that, just you feel that.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
Because, like, it's a
pretty much.
child.
And even now, how like I have a nephew, and how I hear about this something happened to so and so's kid, and it's just like, damn, dude. I look at my nephew and I'm just like,
Like, it's
I
kind
don't
of
know
fucked
what I
up. You
would
think
do,
about it, you're like,
you know?
damn, what if it would have happened to him? Like,
Exactly, but
Yeah.
you have to. It's inevitable. You think about those things. Same way that so and so's mom died, and you're just like, damn, what would I do? I'm not ready for that, So, if you ask me how would I cope with it, I really don't know. And again, like he said, I wish I could be ready for that moment, but I don't think you ever are, especially if it's unexpected. You can prepare as much as you want mentally, like, yeah, my parents are gonna die. We're all gonna die. And you can prepare yourself for that. It's easier to let go of someone who's older, who's lived their life. It's never gonna be easy, but it might be easier. But if something happens unexpected to where, hey, I'm going to my mom's for dinner tonight, and guess what? There is no dinner because she didn't make it. What do you do then? How do you deal with that? I don't think you can ever prepare
So
for
you're
that.
just like, what the fuck? Like, I was supposed to have dinner
Exactly.
with
So
my mom.
now it's just like, it's a shock factor. And yeah, you can prepare yourself for them eventually dying, but in the moment, the shock, I think, will just...
Like, it's still going to hit you regardless.
Yeah, it'll hit you.
Damn, I think I'm just fucked up in the head because
Yeah, speak on it though.
even right now I'm still blank. Like how like I don't know. I feel just kind of
And
like
I
it
hope-
doesn't affect me. And even honestly, not to sound fucked up, but like listen, like it makes me feel. God, what's the word? I don't know. I'm just blank. Like fuck. I can't. Like I don't know why I can't think like that, but I just can't think like that.
Do you have any children in your life?
Do I have any children?
Like, are you an uncle?
No.
If you
I
have,
mean, my mom used to have like a babysitting, like babysitter
Yeah.
business thingy.
Yeah.
So I mean, when I was younger, I was around kids a
I
lot.
think that's different though.
yeah,
to now.
yeah. So like,
We
I
have,
think
like, a
you
deep
think
connection.
you think that your mindset will change when you have kids someday, or when you become an uncle. Because I have nieces too,
I
and
think
I
it
can
will.
imagine.
Perhaps, yes.
Anything happen to them. Like, even if they come home and they got like, got in a fight, like I'd probably want to like hurt some kids. Like, I'm
Yeah, real
serious.
talk.
I was just
No.
telling my brother about that the other day. I'm like, I don't know. I hope this kid never gets bullied or anything.
Yeah.
'cause that's
For real.
gonna be like, I'm gonna get real defensive.
Yeah,
Like, who the fuck is doing that to him and why?
yeah.
I'll get real defensive. And I think it really does change.
See-
I can only imagine how my brother feels or how Chanel feels.
Oh, your brother will fucking.
Yeah,
the
but
world
I'm
and
saying, like,
shit.
if something. Because even me, like, it's not my child, but damn, dude. Like, I can't imagine.
You don't want to see
Yeah.
that happen.
No,
to
I can't imagine.
Yeah, so I was thinking.
Maybe I don't know.
You don't think if one of your children like passed away?
It's probably just because you haven't experienced
Yeah,
it.
I haven't like been to that point, so I.
Scott, but
In-
I
in-
also
in-
feel
in
like
that
this
aspect,
guy
I
lacks
can't.
empathy
Hmm?
a lot. This guy lacks
I don't think so.
empathy.
Fuck
I think
no.
you do.
I don't think I do.
That could be the reason why like you've been alone for so long as well.
You lack empathy. I really believe you lack empathy. Just for you telling me, like, yeah, I don't see it. I just. Mm-mm. That is like, for me, if you tell me, like, I got home and, something happened and my mom passed away, fuck, just the thought, bro. I'm like, fuck.
Even on the movie with another movie with Keanu Reeves, Hardball, when the little kid got shot and
Oh,
died,
yeah.
like I was crying.
Bro, the movie
That
Click.
one.
The movie Click.
Oh,
How they, and I think we do this a lot. Well, I feel like I did, and that movie made me realize we were so caught up in like with our friends and what we were doing, and we forget that our parents are getting older. And then, so that movie, I remember watching it for the first time, and then so the time's passing, and the kids are ignoring the dad. He's doing like the coin trick, and they no longer care. Christmas, everything happens, and kids don't even give a shit no more.
it's karma. Because at
And
the
then
beginning, he wasn't even.
Finally, when Adam Sandler's like dying, then they're like, holy shit, like my dad's old and he's dying of this. That made me realize, like, damn, my parents are getting older and time is passing, and it's like we're not really taking advantage of it. That movie made me cry because I was like, damn,
It's
dude.
true.
Bro, you just made me
That's
think
true.
of some shit now.
Like,
It's true.
that is fucked up.
You don't think you lack empathy?
I
don't
think
think-
you do.
I don't think I do. I think I'm honestly trying to prepare myself because I see a lot of people break down and they let their lives just go because like the big
He probably tries to detach himself
a
from
big situation happened. Like maybe it could be an unexpected death, lost a job. I don't know. Sometimes even breaking up with a loved one it affects people like so bad that it just their life just completely fucking goes to shit. And I think I'm looking at it more in that aspect too, where I just want to be ready to where if shit does hit the fan, I don't lose my life either. So like if the family member were to die or a close one, I wouldn't want it to let it affect me as bad and then boom, I fall into depression, drugs, homeless, dead. No. Like I think I'm looking at it from that perspective. To where I just want to prepare myself because like you said, I don't think I could be ready. I think I could just prepare myself
So it's
So-
probably,
and
it's
so
probably
that's
that.
a-
Just
that's-
he
to
hasn't
hopefully
experienced it.
one day if it does happen, of course I'm gonna be fucking sad. Like if my mom were to die or my brother, hell yeah. But I don't think I would be to the point to where I'm just kind of like sad about it. If that makes sense.
I'll be sad, but I'm not going to be sad about
Yeah, I
it.
don't know. I don't know if that makes sense.
It
I
does.
don't think
it,
he
does-
even knows.
I don't think he. It's crazy how you're saying it. Like
I feel like I know. I think I know what you're trying to say.
I get
but
what
you
you're
don't.
trying
You
to
don't
say.
know
I
how
don't
to
know how to-
explain it.
it's a
Yeah,
sli-
I don't know how to
okay. So what it
explain
is.
this.
What it is
What it
it's
is.
it's a slippery slope. So you're talking about you're not going to let yourself fall into all these negative things that happen to people when they experience losses. But to us, how you're it sounds that you're not even making it to the first step. You're not even showing empathy at all. Empathy is just something that is natural for humans to feel. So it's like, it sounds like you're lacking empathy, but you're saying that you're lacking empathy because you don't want all the other negatives to happen. But that's just a slippery slope that doesn't happen to most people. It happens to some, but not most.
I don't know. I don't think I like empathy. Because I mean, if let's say my brother, if he were to be in a situation where, okay, let's say hypothetically speaking, like a parent were to die and he were to be like, oh, like just ball out and be really like, in the term, quote unquote weak. I don't think I'm gonna be like, oh, toughen the fuck up. I think I would probably sit there and cry with them too. But in the back of my head, I would also know like I have to be strong enough to, keep going on with life. And now looking at him, he might need me too. So I can't fucking sit there and cry right next to him. And both of us just complete fucking break.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's my whole standpoint. Not necessarily that I like empathy. I just like it's okay to grieve, and it just kind of. And
I
that's
really
it.
think that you still lack some of
I think you've been watching too much David Goggins.
No,
Because,
it's funny because I don't really watch his videos.
well, because honestly,
I mean, I've
with-
seen some of his videos, but not
like
all.
I get what you're saying, and I understand that, and I feel the same way.
Because I'm
something were to
emotional.
happen-
I really think I'm an emotional person.
Hey,
Like I really.
real
No,
talk.
I am. I'm really emotional. Be like, bro, shouldn't text me back. Or anything. But I don't know.
huh? All right.
I
so-
think I'm just trying to morph myself into like.
to being strong, like being,
Yeah, being-
mentally strong,
And that's good. and I
Mentally,
get that too,
physically,
and I
just
feel like
everything. I don't know.
if that were to happen to me, it would kind of go the same way, but I still recognize that, yeah, there will be some moments of weakness, but I understand what comes after that. And I understand that I have to be tougher, for everybody else who's left and who may not be able to cope with it the same way, or who may need more time and more attention. Like, I can be emotional, I can be sensitive, but I still feel like I would be able to control myself and, step up where needed. And I accept that. And I accept that I would have those moments of weakness and I wouldn't necessarily be ready. But when I needed to step up and be, there for someone else or, whatever it is, I think I would be able to do it.
Same. I think the same.
So I get what you're saying.
I just I don't this for
But
some
you're
reason
just
this
more-
topic I couldn't put it into words. Like it's here, like I know what I'm saying, like it all makes sense in my head, but it's just like fuck, how do I put it into words to where people could actually understand kind of what I'm trying to say?
I think that you explained it pretty well. I think what you're trying to articulate is that you're gonna be sad, but you're not gonna let it negatively affect yourself going forward, and that you're gonna grieve how you're gonna grieve, but you're not gonna let it negatively impact your life. It's just gonna be sadness for when you're sad.
And I think that's how we can all expect.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
We would
just a
expect to
temporary
be that way.
thing, You'll get through it, basically. I guess what you're trying to say.
Thank you so much, Josue, for coming today. Do you have any takeaways from our topic on death?
Well, I mean, thank you guys for having me, and don't be scared of death. Death is a part of life, so just live your life to the fullest.
And some believe it's a rebirth.
And
right?
some believe it's a rebirth.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Definitely. Oscar, you have any takeaways?
Aside from like the death penalty, I think we had a good conversation about how to deal with death. We found out that some people don't have empathy, but
Fucking David Goggins.
no, and I get your point. I understand what you're saying, and I think it's important, like what you're saying, that you got to step up and realize that life goes on, and have that control. Because say you're in a situation where now it's life or death for you. Somebody already died, but you have to react, and in order to save yourself, and I understand that, having that mentality of knowing how to react and being tough enough to block the emotional part of it out. But I also think that empathy is good, and it's okay if you do become emotional about death. It's not wrong. It's not, you shouldn't like frown upon the way people cope with certain situations or unexpected deaths. Or for example, Kobe and his daughter, it's I don't think it's right, but this is just my perspective, to shame or say like, you know, what the fuck you guys crying about, because we don't know their connection and what they've been through, or you know what, or how he helped them. So I think that's just like my main takeaway, that and then what we said about social media, I get your point. I guess I hadn't looked at it that way, and who are we to say, you know, that you're being a hypocrite for posting this or that, but if that's their way of dealing with it, then more power to them. Same way that I say, like, whatever gets you through the day, then that's it. So it's kind of hypocritical of me to say you're being a hypocrite, but then again, I'm saying
When religion versus
right,
death.
yeah. So
yeah.
I get what you're saying, and thank you for bringing that, you know, that point up. But I think it was overall a pretty good conversation. I had different perspectives, made me think about, you know, different your guys' opinions on things.
Thank you for sharing.
And hey, if you need help, you know, go get it. Don't be afraid.
Yeah.
There's
Don't
social
be-
media.
Someone might be out there. What if there's a therapist out there that's like, you know what, I'll do it for free. Come talk to me.
Yep.
It's your friends.
Boom, bitch. I'm not a therapist, but don't come to me.
I don't want to listen to your problems, bro.
Nah, but in that sense, it's okay. As far as the viewings and the funerals, and if it's more private, then leave
I
it
think
there.
I just have some type of animosity towards people that kind of do it out of like selfishness, like in a sense they disrespect others people's privacy and their grieving like status by trying to do shit like that. Like, oh, let me go record this and that, post it here, post it there. It's like, damn, like let people grieve, you know, like fuck, like it's out of their business. I think that's where I come from, because I do see that a lot, and I feel like some people, not all, but there is some that do it just to fucking have some type of attention, because maybe they lack attention and they need it and it makes them feel good, so that's why they do it. So that's who I'm attacking.
We had a lot to talk about today. We have difference of opinions. When it boils down to is, if you need help, get help. Reach out to get help. And two, that everyone copes with tragedies or death or things differently, and that's okay.
Hey, we did have different opinions.
And we did have
We was
different
about to
opinions.
stop talking and get real for a second.
Yeah.
I was about to throw hands.
Yeah.
Show you some empathy, bro.
And I think that
I'll show you some fucking toughness.
I
Bitch.
think why some of us, like Alex hasn't really experienced death on the same realm or in the same scenarios as I have. So maybe he might have a difference of opinion when that does happen someday. Hopefully that's no time soon. But definitely, however you choose to cope with it, make sure that if you need help, you seek it.
Shouldn't frown upon those who do seek a therapist. And yeah, like she said, we encourage it, you know.
And that's real talk.
It's real, it's raw.
It's also deep and diverse.
Real talk.
Real
Toughen the
talk.
fuck up.